Welcome to this Moving Panels One Shot, and happy Labor Day. I hope you're enjoying some time off if you have some, and even if you don't, I hope you enjoyed an extended weekend, hopefully with family and friends. Look, I won't take too much of your time, but I'm thrilled to announce that we're diving into our 4th year of comic book movie and TV show discussions. Man, what a journey it has been. And we're going to look ahead, but before we do that, let's take a look back at the incredible moments we've shared over the past year. It kicked off last September when Chad and I did an episode from Seattle discussing the West Coast Avengers. This year also saw Ruby begin her journey into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And of course, who could forget our epic showdown brackets with the worst comic book movie, the nostalgia of the best 80s and 90s movie, and the best theme song. I know that was a little bit of a long one, but it was fun. Look, we've delved into some truly remarkable movies and TV shows. We celebrated the 30th anniversary of Batman the Animated Series with Blake Fowler. We did a deep dive into that, into this iconic show, which allowed us to appreciate the timeless storytelling and artistry that honestly still captivates us to this day. And then our exploration of Batman 89 with Tim Williams and Ron West. Look, that movie is a classic. Of course, it was also the winner of our 80s bracket. And as we discussed it and talked about it, it reminded us of the magic of Tim Burton's Gotham City and Michael Keaton's portrayal of the Dark Knight. Then we discussed Dick Tracy, which took us on a nostalgic journey through its vibrant comic strip-inspired world. And very recently, The Road to Perdition, which showcased the power of comic book storytelling in film. Of course, as we know, we have also had our fair share of fun dissecting some of the not-so-great movies. Our discussion of Barb Wire, which was our worst movie bracket, winner, loser, I'm still not sure how to categorize that. That was fun. We did Elektra with Nicholas Pepin. And last week, Tim joined me for our annual Bad Movie in the Year With review as we discussed Morbius. But look, all of those, even though they weren't great movies, these episodes are filled with humorous moments as we navigated our way through their quirks and missteps. And they may not be cinematic gems, but they give us plenty to talk about, and it's always fun to do that. One of the exciting additions to our podcast this year was animation, where we explored the animated side of the comic book world. We discussed the Ultimate Avengers and Superman Doomsday, the first of their kind. And these adaptations allowed us to appreciate the unique storytelling possibilities of this medium. And it also maybe let some of you know that these exist, because they're not really ones that I think people think of nowadays. We had our March Madness, where we spent a whole month dedicated to the Ghost Rider. That was fun. You could talk about some good and bad movies in there. And then we had our big, epic Summer of Superman event, where we explored the 30th anniversary of the death and return of the Man of Steel. And then just recently, just a few weeks ago, my wife Bethany and daughter Ruby, they got in on the action and took over for 2 episodes discussing Annie. But now, let's gaze into the future, if you will. In the year ahead, we've got, I would say, as always, a diverse lineup of episodes, and it'll continue to fuel any passion that any of us have on comic book adaptations. We're going to kick things off here in September with revisiting some 90s classics like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and our runner-up for our 90s movie bracket, because we had already done the winner Blade. So Nicholas Pepin and Tim Williams and I are going to discuss Men in Black. And it's franchises like these that hold a special place in our hearts. And it's fun to dive into them and explore what they're all about. Of course, we've also got our holiday episodes to look forward to for Halloween. Expect a spine-tingling discussion of From Hell with James Brooks. Now, From Hell is a graphic and thought-provoking exploration of Jack the Ripper's reign of terror. And then Christmas. Well, what's Christmas without the Tick? That's right. We'll be unwrapping a festive episode just for you. Of course, it'll be filled with humor and absurdity, which is what makes the Tick a cult favorite. Then as we roll over into 2024, we've got Valentine's Day. And Bethany, my wonderful wife, will be joining me again for our annual Valentine date night episode filled with love, laughter, and even surprises, especially when it comes to what movie we decide to watch. It's a date night that you won't want to miss as we explore the romantic and heartfelt moments within the world of comic book adaptations. And speaking of surprises, Ruby is going to share her thoughts on the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. We had her go back and watch those before we got too deep into Phase 4. You know where I'm going with that. And of course, she'll discuss her thoughts on Phase 4 of the MCU. I gotta tell you, her fresh perspective has added a whole new dimension to this podcast. I know that probably like many of you, you can't wait to hear more from her as she continues to share her viewpoints on these beloved films. Our March Madness, we're gonna go into a deep dive into Watchmen, a comic book masterpiece that redefined the genre. We'll talk about the comic. We'll talk about the movie with its complex characters, its thought-provoking themes. I'm going to promise that this March Madness will provide you with so much material for discussion when it comes to Watchmen. And then mark your calendars because our 100th review episode is coming in May. Can you believe that? 100 review episodes. This is going to be a celebration you won't want to miss. We'll have a few one-shots surrounding it that will touch on it, but the actual episode itself is going to be a roundtable discussion on the movie that started it all, Superman. Christopher Reeve, Richard Donner, Superman. Tim Williams and I, that was episode number 1, way back when. We're going to bring it back, and we're going to do a roundtable discussion with several of my co-hosts, and we're going to tackle the granddaddy of them all once again. And you know what? We've even got something special lined up to honor the 2024 Summer Olympic Games. We're going to do a discussion of the gold, silver, and bronze ages of comics. Now, you might be wondering, what in the world do Olympic medals and comics have to do with each other? Well, that's what they call these certain eras of comics, the gold, silver, and bronze age. And so let's talk about this real quick. So the gold age, which is often considered the birth of superhero comics, is like the gold medal of comic book history. I mean, this is where we were given the iconic characters of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the Trinity. Also, Captain America was introduced during this time. And these are the characters and the comics that set the stage for the entire genre. Then The Flash came in and launched the Silver Age, which brought us the Marvel Universe and the Fantastic Four, and gave things a little bit more of a sci-fi feel. So a silver standard was set. And then the Bronze Age. Now, this isn't anything about last place or because things kept going from here, but the Bronze Age gave us socially relevant storytelling, complex characters, and so it is truly something to respect and something to even be proud of in the Bronze Age. We'll explore each of these ages and their significance, the iconic comics that emerged during these eras, and we'll talk about how each age shaped the comic book landscape. So think of it as a comic Olympics of sorts, where we celebrate the achievements of creators who brought these characters to life. And of course, we'll continue to have our weekly episodes. We'll have the one-shots where we have nerdy conversations and continue to do so. I mean, we're going to discuss in the next one shot in a couple of weeks, we're going to discuss the origins of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic. We'll talk about the dark and terrifying Something is Killing the Children comics. Blake Fowler will join me for that. And of course, other hot topics, current events, comics that we're talking about, things that tie into the review episode we're discussing. Look, and speaking of, we've got some fantastic films lined up. Each of these, as I talked about, the diverse view that we have, the unique takes on comic book adaptations. So just to name a few of these, we're going to do Wonder Woman. Of course, its strong female lead and empowering message. I mean, that's got to spark a thoughtful conversation. We're going to do The Mask. It's a lesser known comic, but it's a zany and comic romp for a film, and it'll make us laugh. And you know what? We'll even look to see if there's any hidden themes beneath all that chaos. We're going to look at Dread, the Carl Urban-led movie, which is a gritty, action-packed film, which leads us into the dark corners of Mega City 1. And it's just a beautiful movie. Can't wait to talk about that one. So, but all these films, all the other films we're going to talk about, they all represent the diversity of comic book adaptations. And honestly, I can never wait to explore what these movies mean, not only to comics, but just their impact on the genre, on the movies, on the comics, on television shows, anything. Like, do they continue something that has already existed? Do they create something new? That's what's always so fun. Oh, let's also talk about animation. So this was a new addition to our podcast family. We explored animated movies and the animated side of comic book adaptations. I enjoyed getting to do that. We discussed Ultimate Avengers and Superman Doomsday, which allowed us to appreciate the unique storytelling possibilities of animation. I mean, Ultimate Avengers introduced us to the Marvel animated universe, which paved the way for future animated adaptations that we have yet to talk about on this show. And then Superman Doomsday, well, it offered an interesting take on the classic Death of Superman storyline, and I will admit, it showcased a little bit of the emotional depth that animation can achieve, and we hope to continue that as we continue this journey. Coming up in May of 2024 with our animation, I mean, we have the 100th episode, which is going to take over some of that, but I'm still going to create an animation aspect, and we're going to look at All-Star Superman, which, again, you want to get into emotional depth. That movie should be able to hit some of those notes. But look, all these conversations that we have, we don't want it to be a one-way conversation. We want to hear from you. You're our incredible listeners. We can't do this without you. So let us know, what are your favorite moments from the past in Moving Panels? And what other movies and TV shows do you want us to cover? How about some ideas for more brackets? I can tell you we're going to probably do the 2000s. And we're even going to do the best Stan Lee cameo. That one will be coming up. So, look, just share your thoughts with us. We're on social media. Share your thoughts. And, hey, I may even bring that up and share one of your comments on a future episode. So look forward to that. But as we wrap up this special look at Year 4 of Moving Panels, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to all of you who have been part of our journey. Your support and enthusiasm is what keeps us going. We can't wait to explore the world of comics and movies with you in the year ahead. And stay tuned. I mean, we got exciting episodes. We'll start things off with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles next week, and we'll go all the way to our bad movie end of the year, and I already planned that one to be Jonah Hex. So enjoy that. Enjoy everything in between. But we'll continue to explore the rich tapestry of comic book adaptations. We'll continue to celebrate the classics. We'll help you discover hidden gems along the way. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to Year 4. So we'll wrap it up for here. Until next time, for Moving Panels, I'm Laramy Wells, and I'll see you on the other side of the page.
What seems to be the problem, pal?
There's just so much pain in the world, so many issues. I don't think I can bear it.
Well, friendo, it sounds like you could use a dose of pop culture roulette.
Pop culture roulette? What's that? Some sort of pop culture themed podcast or something?
That's right, sonny boy. When hope seems far, dive into some PCR.
But I already get my entertainment news from Variety.
Huh, that's pretty good. If you're a chucklehead, PCR gives you news you need, condensed, unfiltered, and raw, from three nerds who know a little something about something.
Wow, okay, sign me up.
That's the spirit. Pop Culture Roulette. New episodes every Monday, available on all major podcast directories.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and listen to an 80s Flick Flashback podcast once in a while, you could miss it. Do you love movies of a certain age? Do you miss the days of VHS tapes, VCRs, and the video rental stores? Does the thought of another 80s movie being remade seem inconceivable? My name is Tim Williams. I'm the creator and host of the 80s Flick Flashback podcast. On each episode, I'm joined by guest co-hosts to discuss one of the many movies released in the 1980s. We share our first-time watch memories, our favorite scenes, and even learn some behind-the-scenes stories about the cast and crew along the way. New episodes are released every other Friday on your favorite podcasting platform. So make like a tree, get out of here, and go listen to an excellent episode of the 80s Flick Flashback podcast. The ad is over. Go home. Go.